age is but a number, as some say, but others often say, I'm getting too old for this. Whether it's old age or simply partying too hard, welcome to Beyond the Screen. I'm Nate, and these are the top 10 celebrities who might pass away. Number 10, Al Pacino. What's my name? Dunkachino. Remember that little bit from that train wreck that was Adam Sandler's Jack and Jill? Cause I do. The man behind such greats as Grown Ups and Billy Madison literally called Scarface and got him to be in that dumpster fire. Al Pacino has been acting for a long time. In 1971, he was cast to play the leading man Bobby in the film Panic in Needle Park, before appearing in his more iconic role as Michael Corleone in The Godfather, cementing Al as a mob man not to be messed with. Over the following years, his roles became less and less powerful. The characters he was playing felt old and tired, and it might be because, well, Al is old and tired. Al is currently 83 years old, and he just welcomed a newborn baby into the world with his wife, his mistress, who is only 29 years old. Now, ignoring the age gap for a minute, how is this man supposed to function as a father? I'm 23 and I can barely get a good night's sleep when I am living alone. Al has to deal with a screaming, crying baby, and yeah, he's gonna get a nanny, but nannies aren't 24/7. The only way Al survives the first year if the little one stays in a separate house on the property, like a baby boathouse or something just kinda pushed to the side. Al is pushing it by being so promiscuous at his age, and with his health slowly declining, we have a feeling that he's going to be popping up in some in memoriam videos in the near future. Number 9, Harrison Ford. Han Solo has been a prominent figure in sci-fi culture since debuting on the silver screen in 1977 in Star Wars: A New Hope. He was young, charismatic, and so full of life. It's no surprise that he was tapped to play the titular treasure hunter Indiana Jones in Steven Spielberg's Raiders of the Lost Ark in 1981. Harrison is another one of those actors who's had steady work for most of his career. While the quality of that work may have varied from being magnificent to Ender's Game, I can't even think of a good word to describe how bad that was. Harry turned 80 this year, and he just released his 5th entry in the Indiana Jones franchise, Dial of Destiny. While the film hasn't received incredible reviews, the majority agree that the amount of action in this thing is ridiculous. It's shocking that Harrison is still alive and kicking. Sure, there was a stuntman, but according to Harrison, he's still willing to be thrown around by a wire. Should there be a 6th movie? Which, like, come on. Yeah, Harrison may need to stick to just standing and acting, cause one wrong move may land him in a shipping crate in a German warehouse. Number 8, Michael Caine. Michael Caine, which is also the name of the fish that I bought with an old roommate 3 years ago. Hey Liam, he's still alive. Michael first broke onto the silver screen in 1964, starring in the action drama Zulu as Lieutenant Gonville Bromhead. Since 1964, this man has been casted in everything under the sun, from action movies to Oscar bait to Austin Powers. Yeah, baby! As many may know, in his most recent years, Michael has been working with critically acclaimed director Christopher Nolan on basically every single project this man has worked on since appearing in Batman Begins in 2005. Michael's made several mistakes as an actor. Now you see me too! I'm sorry. But he's one of the few people on this list whose ability as a performer has stayed consistent. The roles he played were sophisticated men who always seemed to know something that the audience didn't. He's still going strong in the acting world, surely set to star in Christopher Nolan's latest Oscar bait masterpiece, Oppenheimer. While he isn't actually listed on the cast, he wasn't for Tenet either, and yet there he was. Michael reached the stellar age of 90 years old this year, making him one of the oldest entries on this list. We love Michael, so while he may be included on this list, he is the last person that we want to pass away. So somebody better get this man that secret Illuminati juice that's keeping everybody alive, okay? He must live. Number 7, Madonna. Madonna is the original queen of pop. Her tunes have had us moving and grooving since her debut album released in 1983, simply titled Madonna. She's one of the youngest entries on this list, as she's only 64 years old. The reason that she's included on this list is unfortunately due to her recent hospitalization. Madonna was set to begin a world tour roughly a week ago when her scheduled performance was suddenly cancelled. According to the Madonna herself, the hospitalization comes from a battle with a serious bacterial infection. She was kept over a multi-day period for observation, but has been released back into her home, where family says she's been uncontrollably vomiting and has basically been bedridden since stepping foot back into the house. Apparently she's been suffering from a heavy fever for over a month, but has been able to push through. Suddenly the bacteria took hold and she was sent to the ICU. While many people recover from this type of infection every day, the fact that Madonna has cancelled all upcoming performances does not instill confidence in her fans. Number 6, Jamie Foxx. Now I know, Nate, Jamie, I know what you're saying. Nate, Jamie's only 55 years old. How can he be on this list? Well, in case you've been living under a rock for the last, well, ever, Jamie was recently working on a movie for Netflix called Back in Action when he suddenly fell on set. He was rushed to hospital where he remained shrouded in mystery and internet theories went wild. Did P. Diddy have him taken out? Was this a side effect of some kind of a medication or a vaccine? No. The reality was, according to the most recent reports, that Jamie had a small seizure which left him in an unconscious state long enough for the internet to say their goodbyes to one of the most talented men in Hollywood. Thankfully, he seems to be back on his feet and in tip-top shape. I mean, have you seen his new commercial with Vanessa Hudgens? It's for online gambling. It's not great. While he may be back on his feet now, Jamie is a very physical actor and he tends to do his own stunts on set whenever possible. This means the chances of him bumping his head just a little bit too hard in the wrong place is getting higher and higher. Number 5. Anthony Hopkins. He ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti. The man who made a entertaining, Anthony Hopkins is considered to be one of the greatest actors still working today. Speaking truthfully though, I am ignorant to that fact as I mostly know him as Hannibal Lecter and of course Odin in the Marvel Cinematic Universe cause I'm a geek! However, his list of acting credits is long and the majority of the projects that he's in are critical darlings, being nominated for several awards over the years and even winning Best Actor for his turn as Hannibal Lecter. Anthony is 85 years old and this man is still acting. He is set to voice a robot warrior in Zack Snyder's newest passion project, Rebel Moon. Now while he is sticking to sitting on a stool in a little booth talking into a microphone, he has been noticeably declining in health in recent years. According to Hugh Jackman, who co-starred in a film recently with Hopkins called The Sun, Anthony would take a lot of breaks while filming. He wasn't able to stand for long periods of time, so some scenes were rewritten to allow Anthony to act and sit simultaneously. Considering his age and the accommodations that come with it, it's sad to think that Anthony could very well be on the we will miss you list very soon. Number 4. Morgan Freeman. If you've ever been to a science center, you've surely heard Morgan's soothing voice guide you through a journey into the Arctic, or the jungle, or space, I don't know, this man's narrated everything. Morgan has been working steady since first appearing in the film Street Smarts in 1987. He's lended his skills to several projects over the years, all of which are considered to be timeless gems. Except Now You See Me Too. God, every copy of that film needs to be shredded and fed to a lion. No bueno. Morgan is still going strong on the silver screen, recently starring alongside Florence Pugh in a dramedy called A Good Person. At the age of 86 years old, Morgan is on track to retire from film in the near future, but considering his declining health and overall reputation, with many of his female cast and crew claiming unwanted comments and physical instances from the actor, Morgan may be one of the many people on this list joining the slideshow of sadness at next year's Oscar ceremony. Number 3. Dick Van Dyke. Alright, so for obvious reasons I will be referring to him as Van for the remainder of this entry because the internet won't let me say his first or last name separately without being deleted from existence. Van first popped into our hearts starring in the classic sitcom The Dick Van Dyke Show, playing a fictionalized version of himself in classic sitcom fashion. During his time on the show, he was also asked by Disney to play the incredible Bert in the original Mary Poppins film from 1964. Over the years, Van was able to land roles in various musicals and comedy flicks, like Chitty Chitty Bang Bang and Bye Bye Birdie. Younger audiences unfamiliar with his early work may recognize Van as the elderly night guard Cecil from the Night at the Museum franchise, so might help you put a face to the name. This man is 97 years old. You would think he'd be in a wheelchair and eating exclusively milkshakes, but he regularly works out, and his wife, who is 51, says that it's hard to keep up with her hubby almost all the time. He's always giddy and energetic, ready to take the day on no matter what may come. Seriously, this attitude might be the secret to a long life, because hey, despite being almost 100 years old, he looks like a man in his early 80s, at most. And if he keeps clicking his heels and jumping for joy though, he may snap something that not be snapped. Number 2. Ian Mckellen. Sir Ian Mckellen is one of the most iconic actors in nerd history. In his time on the silver screen, Ian has portrayed the live-action adaptation of several much-loved characters, like Gandalf the Grey in the Hobbit/Lord of the Rings franchise. He donned the Chrome Dome to play the metal bender Magneto in the original Foxx X-Men run. Oh, and he even played Sherlock frickin' Holmes in 2019. This guy's awesome. Seriously, this dude must just read a book and go, I've got wrote this. Since appearing in his first film in 1979, playing the titular Macbeth in Shakespeare's classic, Ian has carved himself a nice little path in Hollywood that has allowed him to not only maintain his acting career, but his personal life is also significantly better, even being knighted by Queen Elizabeth II in 1991. Ian is still acting today, albeit in a much smaller capacity, with his most recent acting credit being in a small budget, straight to streaming movie called Infinitum Subject Unknown. Some kind of like a sci-fi movie whose selling point is that the whole thing was filmed by one crew member, and it really shows. And at number 1, Donald Sutherland. Donald is one of those actors who steals the show every time he's on screen. This Canadian treasure, born in St. John's, Newfoundland, has been working steady since the early 1970s, appearing in cult classic films like MASH, The Dirty Dozen, and Invasion of the Body Snatchers. In most recent years, you may recognize him as President Snow from the Hunger Games franchise, delivering one of the most menacing and intimidating performances of his long career. His last role on screen was starring alongside Brad Pitt in the sci-fi thriller Ad Astra from 2019. Since then, he's remained silent and hidden from the world, and for good reason. His health has steadily been declining over the years, and it was announced in 2022 that he was suffering from spinal meningitis, a disease that targets the spinal column and the brain, leaving him in need of a wheelchair for the rest of his life, only being able to stand for small periods of time. While he is no stranger to battling infections and disease, he is getting to that age where that battle becomes harder and harder to win. So good luck, Donnie. And those are the top 10 celebrities who may pass away. Who did we miss, and who do you know that is on the verge of kicking the bucket? Let us know in the comments below. If you made it to the end of this video, your screen will self-destruct in 10 seconds. Hit that like button if you enjoy our content and you want to see more. Thanks for stopping beyond the screen today, and we'll see you next time.